Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander Tactical. A few weeks back we had a look at the Helikon-Tex Competition Chest Rig. This is a modular system that you can completely set up with different inserts behind this front panel here for your 2-gun setup, if you're running 1 gun, however you want to do it. There's a lot of options and versatility around what Helikon-Tex have created in their competition rig, specifically for competitions, but I know there's a lot of other people out there that use this for different style events. With a chest rig like this, you can fit pretty much everything that you want into this. However, it's also very easy to overlook the extra part, and that is considering and thinking about running a belt or battle belt like this. So what we're going to have a look at today, so this is the Helikon-Tex competition belt setup that I have been running, and have been running for the last, this a couple of months now, probably even longer than that actually. Very useful, so if you're wanting to reduce what you carry on your chest, you can carry quite a lot of this on here. Now, similar to the chest rig, when you purchase the chest rig, there are additional purchases that you'll need to make to completely configure this to you. And the belt works in exactly the same way. Although this looks like one single setup, all of the parts that are on here are separate constituent parts that you can look at, and you can completely trick this out to be as bespoke as you choose to. Now, before I start, I think it's useful to point out that this is an over your pants setup. So I think recently we've had a look at a couple of options from Deadly Customs and from Core Essentials, where it will pass through your belt loops and it is fixed to your pants. This one will sit over your pants, so when you have your setup, it's all set up and then you just put it on and it's around your waist and you're ready to go. But the actual foundations of this belt, there are 2 parts to it. So you have the inner belt and you have the padded section where all of your Molly and PALS attachments will set to this. The inner belt on this is one of Helikon-Tex's Cobra buckle belts. These are pretty freaking indestructible when you've got it to your right size, which does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you've set it to that first step, then it just clicks into place. These are genuine Cobra buckles as well, made in Austria, I think they're made. So no kind of scrimping and saving on those. They're also load bearing as well if you need to use anything like that. For me, I have the large belt and I also have the large padded belt, but there are different sizes. I believe there's definitely different sizes for this one. I'm sure there's pretty much, I'll double check that. But there are different sizes for this depending on, I suppose you could get the large belt and cut some off if you wanted to, but you might as well go for the size that's probably best suited for your waist. I'd always generally say go for the next size up, for the sheer fact that 1, this has to go over your pants, and then 2, the padded section that you've got here is probably about, say, 10 mil thick, just to make sure that it's going to hold your belt in place. So having something with a little extra girth, that's what she said, will certainly help with that. Now, passing this through, what you'll find is once you've got it on the first time, just make sure that it stays in there. The padded belt itself, so there are kind of 2 layers to this, because you'll need to be able to pass this belt through here. But as it goes through, so you have a slot here at the front that this passes through, and then it passes through all the way through the inside of the belt until it comes out through the front. There are sections where it's actually stitched at the bottom, so if you want to get into this, let's say I'm wearing this as it stands here and I want to put something that is a drop leg holster onto this, you certainly can do. I can attach it to any of the PALS webbing here on the front. All the PALS webbing on this is the newer style laser cut PALS webbing, or if I chose to, you can lift this up, put your holster through the actual belt itself and then run your holster from that, especially if it's a drop leg. If it's one that you just want to sit perfectly on your hip, then you can attach it to the front. Certainly don't have any issues with that. So they're the belts. Now after that it comes down to customizing this how you choose. So similar to the chest rig, there are plenty of options for this. I have it set up for a 2-gun setup, so I have a pistol magazine, and then I have 2 rifle magazines. Generally tend to find I go for rifle mags faster than I go through pistol mags. But on those instances where I need to reload my rifle, reloading or grabbing a pistol generally tends to be a lot faster. So I have my pistol magazine here at the front. This is one of the Helikon-Tex single pistol magazine holders, and everything just fits into here perfectly. There is a draw cord, whereas it's here on the side so that you can pull this. This is designed to pretty much fit any pistol magazine that you want to put into here. This is a Glock magazine, however I have run 1911 magazines on this. They're a little bit thinner, so you just want to pull that to make sure that it grips it enough. And I've also gone up to the likes of my Mark 23, which is a little bit bigger than this. And it still fits in there perfectly. I will say for the Mark 23, it's actually the best one to put into this, because it just, when you put it in there, it really just does hug it. For the 9mm, I've pulled this so that it's just a little bit tighter, and I've not had any issues, or at least any concerns that whilst I've been running full tilt across a field, that it's going to slip out. But there's still plenty of room that you can put a couple of these at the front. What I will say is this is set up like a lot of other battle belts to make sure that there is plenty of what's the word? Bendability, flexibility, malleability. Every 2 molle sections, so here you'll see there's 2 columns, 2 columns and 2 columns. You'll have a gap in between these so that it will bend perfectly around your body. So you can fit 2 pistol magazines here at the front. For me, I'm just running one, I have been running one, mainly because it's just there on my hip. I do have additional options here on my chest rig should I want to add any other pistol magazines to this. So one on the hip for me I find is easier and faster to get to than the ones that are on my chest. After that, we've then got our trusty rifle magazines, or at least, sorry, competition rifle magazine pouches. It's a bit of a mouthful when you start getting into the full name of things, but you know what I mean with single rifle mags. So in here, just to show that you can fit both of different types within here, I've got some 5.56 ammunition, and then I've also got some 7.62 in here. The 5.56, when it does fit in here, because it's designed, or it's made in such a way that you can put the 7.62 in, when it pushes in, there is a wee bit of wiggle room on the side, so I can push my finger right into here. So if you're concerned about that, they also have the tabs, these competition tabs on the top, which will make sure that it's locked in place. Super easy to pull to one side, and you can do it with one movement. When you go down, push it forward and pull straight up, push that forward and then pull straight up as your hand moves backwards. Again, you know, it fits in there perfectly, but as I say, there's just a little bit of wiggle room. If you want to bind down on that to make sure that wiggle room disappears more, you've got some pull cords on the side on the bungee system so that you can really kind of lock that in there. With the AK-762 magazines, they fit in a little bit more snug. One, because of that kind of banana shape that the AK magazine has, but also with the lips that are on there as well, so that you rock and lock. It does hold them in place a wee bit tighter. There's not as much wiggle room as you get with the 5.56, but I mean, it's the difference really between the 2 magazines. You know the deal. The way that all of these connect, at least with the single pistol magazine, it connects to one of the columns. To both of these single rifle magazines, they have 2 straps on the back, which will then pass through the laser cut pals webbing, just to make sure, again, you know, there's very little twist, although I have been able to twist it there. That's just because it's not on my waist at this moment in time. The bungee for the 5.56 magazines fits on and it's great. The bungee for the 7.62, you really have to give this a pull to get it up there, but you can extend this. What I would say is that with the 7.62 AK magazines, you really don't need that bungee on there as much. It's not that I've not felt confident that the M4 mags will fall out, but because there's just that little bit of wiggle room in there, it's great to have that on top. Whereas with the AK mags, because they're seated in there, plus you've got that lip on the inside because of the way that you put them in, there's less of a tendency for them to kind of feel that they're not sat in there perfectly. But these are completely removable. If you want to take these tabs off, you can remove those as well. Moving round to the back of the belt, you have one of these competition mag pouches, stash bags. Why am I being stupid? Why have I completely forgotten what this is called? But this is completely foldable away as well, so if you want to, when you're not, you can roll that up. Dump pouch. I don't know where I went with that one. But this also fits on with two Molle columns on the back as well, really to stop that sway. Because of the way that this is seated, it generally tends to be over your buttocks, which as you're running tends to kind of flap up and down a bit. Although a lot of the retention straps on these are ridiculously tough and are not going to come out anyway, the more movement you get, the more jostling around, the more chance that there is of something being able to come undone. Incredibly rare, but it's got the two ones on there and it will stop that lateral movement to make sure it's always in the position so that you've finished the mag, dump it, grab the next one, and then you're ready to go. If I've not already mentioned, sorry, so all of this is made from 500D Cordura. This is exactly the same, it's made from the same material. There is a small drawstring on there as well, so if you know that you've had issues in the past where you've been climbing through windows or doors or whatever it is, you just want to make it a little bit more secure in there, then you can pull the drawstring on there to kind of stop that. Also, if you're concerned about dust and debris and just bits of crap getting in here, rather than it being Cordura all the way through it, on the bottom you have this really nice mesh, and that will stop any crap from kind of getting in there. Also, if it's raining as well, it will just kind of come out of the bottom. I really do like the fact, I mean, I know that a lot of these are folded away, but when you're in the mornings and you're going for the brief in the morning and your safety kind of call outs, all of that sort of stuff, it's good just to have it so that it's just kind of folded away anyway. Moving round right onto the back, so this one actually just sits ever so slightly over my hip. We then have one of the competition utility pouches. These are great ambi open YKK zips made from the same 500D Cordura. On the inside, on the back of this, it is 100% hook and loop, so if you have any other attachments or any of the Helikon-Tex versatile inserts, they will all fit onto the back here. So maybe you want to do some sort of organization, you've got some tools, anything specifically like that, maybe even if it's just locker keys and a pen or your car keys, all of that sort of stuff, you can have this so that it will sit perfectly at the back. On the front of these, you then have a double elastic loop here, which is the wider kind of 2-inch ones, and then you have two single loops here, which are the shorter 1-inch loops. Again, so if you want to pass something through here, it could be a tool, it could be whatever it is that you need to, then they will pass in there as well. Super useful, especially for the stuff that you think will probably fall out of your pocket, as it always tends to do through the day. So having that there, pulling both of the zips down to one side just to make sure that that's definitely not going to come open, is great. Now this is four Molle columns, so you have one that attaches, you have two spaces in the middle, and then you have the fourth one on the right hand side or left hand side, whichever way you're looking at it. The last little bit that I run on here as well, which I don't actually use at the moment, but I am working on adding more to this is the competition med pouch. This can be run either vertically as we have it here, or you can turn it around and you can run it horizontally as well. Depending on which way you do it, whether you're a lefty or a righty, you don't have to turn this around as such, because it will open from the top here or it will open from the bottom here. So again, if you have this, so you have this laterally and you want to grab it with your left hand, I suppose it doesn't even matter whether you're a lefty or a righty. Whichever hand is free, you can get instant access to it. You pull it up at the top and then it will pull out the insert, and then on the inside of the insert here, then you can set up a little mini IFAK for whatever it is that you need to. If it is that you're running real steel and you're doing a two-gun setup with that, it's useful to have your tourniquet and other such items in here. If it is that you're not running real steel and you're doing this for different events, it's still useful to have a mini IFAK just in case you do get into any difficulties, and maybe it's for yourself or one of your friends, family, whatever it is, or even just somebody else that's there for the day. Having an IFAK is super useful just to make sure that everybody is safe as possible. Last little things, and as I've been going around this, I completely forgot to mention. So on the actual padded belt itself, you have loops. So there are two at the front here, and then there are two at the back here. So should you want to run a suspension system for this, if you have a harness that you want to attach to this, then you can do, just to give you as much comfort as possible. Now, putting it on, as you'd expect, is not a particularly difficult thing. You know, you put it on and it does go over whatever it is that you're wearing. So if I put my hand up here, you can see everything is in just the right place. So if whatever it is that I'm doing, I can grab another magazine, or at least I can dump the first magazine, grab the second magazine, and then you're off and running. The whole competition setup that Helikon-Tex have is it's all really it's part of, although I'm not sure whether they refer to it as a building blocks kind of platform, but really what you have, whether it's with the chest rig or with the belt, you have this kind of foundation, and then you can purposely build and make this as bespoke to how you need to use it, how you want to run it, whether you're running this for airsoft, whether you're running this for real steel, whether it's a competition, or whether or not you've just got something that you want to keep in your truck just in case something happens and you need to grab a belt so that you can put everything on here. It's a lot easier to be able to get a belt on, although I kind of struggled with it then. But if you're not reliant on some protection through a plate or a plate carrier, that sort of thing, then it's very good to have all of the things that you need to keep with you on your hip. So yeah, there you go. I think it's a very nice solution, and compared to compared to the Helikon-Tex mini rig, the chest rig is definitely a little bit more bespoke, and again, with the belt, you can kind of complement what you carry on your chest with just that kind of extra setup again. So there you go. Now, I'll leave some links below so that you can see more from these, but these were sent to me from Military First. I want to say a huge shout out to the team at Military First. They've supported my channel here on Moorlander Tactical and my sister channel, Moorlander EDC, for the last 5 years. Absolutely amazing team there. If you don't know who Military First are, I mean, let's face it, you probably do, but Military First are one of the largest, if not the largest, UK suppliers of military gear and outdoor enthusiast gear. They're also possibly the largest carrier of Helikon-Tex gear here in the UK. So generally, as soon as it comes out, it might take a few weeks, a little bit longer sometimes, but Military First will be able to get their hands on that. So at the moment, I think it's about €21 just to get Helikon-Tex posted to the UK. so not having to pay that additional postage is great. They stock all of the different colours. I forgot to mention as well, so this is the shadow grey version. The belt and chest rig will match, and you can colour match all of the different bits that you want to attach to these, and they certainly stock all of that. I believe there's currently a sale on at the time of filming. However, when there isn't a sale on, you can use Moorlander 10 to get 10% discount off non-sale items, and that's an important bit that I stress there. If it's already in the sale, it doesn't give you an extra 10%, but if you find an item, whether it's Helikon-Tex or any other items, using the discount code Moorlander10 will be able to get you an additional 10% off the Military First website. So again, just a huge thank you to Military First for sending these my way. Yeah, you guys rock. So I'll leave all of their links below. I'll leave my links here of social media links here for Moorlander Tactical and my sister channel, Moorlander EDC. But for now, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay tactical. Hi, I'm the Moorlander, and this is Moorlander Tactical. Now, a few weeks back, we had a look at the Helikon-Tex Competition rig, which is a set up. It's completely modular, so compared to something like the, what's the other one called? There's the Competition. What is the other one called? There's two. There's the Competition rig. I think outside of running a chest rig, it's also very easy, or at least, no, you absolute wazzock. Stay tactical, yeah! I think we're running out of battery. We need to take some photos. Right, have a cool day. This is going out on the Friday, as most stuff does for Moorlander Tactical on a Friday. So yeah, there you go. Have a good day. I'll see you in a bit. Bye. Love you.